for mine.
See? God's looking out for us.
We're good, right?
Lone Survivor stands as one of the most intense and emotionally charged war stories ever brought to the screen, focusing not on grand military victories or large-scale battles, but on a small group of soldiers whose mission spirals into a fight for survival against overwhelming odds. The film places viewers directly into the harsh and unforgiving terrain of a mountainous war zone, where every decision carries life or death. Consequences and the line between strategy and instinct becomes dangerously thin. From the very beginning, the story emphasizes realism, immersing the audience in the routines, brotherhood, and quiet tension that define life within an elite military unit preparing for a high-risk operation. The narrative follows a tightly knit team of special operations soldiers who have trained together for years and developed a bond that goes far beyond professional duty. Their relationship is built on trust, shared hardship, and a deep understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses. Before the mission begins, the film takes time to show moments of camaraderie and dark humor among the team, highlighting their humanity and making it clear that these are not just soldiers in uniform but individuals with families, dreams, and fears. These early scenes create an emotional foundation that makes the events that follow far more impactful and tragic. Their assignment is straightforward in theory, but extremely dangerous in practice. Infiltrate a remote region, locate a high-value enemy target, and gather intelligence without alerting hostile forces. The team is inserted into the rugged mountains under the cover of darkness, navigating steep cliffs, dense forests, and unpredictable weather conditions. The environment itself quickly becomes one of the story's most formidable antagonists, as loose rocks, narrow ledges, and limited visibility constantly threaten to expose their position or cause fatal accidents. The film uses long, quiet sequences of movement through the terrain to build tension, allowing viewers to feel the physical exhaustion and mental strain the soldiers endure. As the team establishes a hidden observation point, the fragile balance of their mission is disrupted by an unexpected encounter with local civilians. This moment becomes one of the most morally complex and pivotal scenes in the story, forcing the soldiers to make a decision that weighs their own safety against the rules of engagement and their personal sense of right and wrong. The debate among the team members reveals their individual personalities and values, with some arguing for strict adherence to protocol while others fear the consequences of showing mercy in such a volatile situation. Their final choice, driven by conscience and humanity, ultimately sets in motion the chain of events that leads to their exposure. Once their presence is discovered, the mission rapidly deteriorates into a desperate fight for survival. Enemy fighters begin to converge on their position from multiple directions, using their knowledge of the terrain to surround and outmaneuver the small team. The soldiers, heavily outnumbered and cut off from immediate support, are forced to rely on their training, communication, and sheer willpower to stay alive. The film's combat sequences are brutal and chaotic, avoiding stylized action in favor of raw, disorienting realism. Bullets tear through trees, explosions echo across the mountains, and the soldiers are repeatedly knocked down steep slopes, their bodies battered by both enemy fire and the unforgiving landscape. Communication with their command center becomes sporadic and unreliable due to the rugged terrain blocking their signals. This isolation intensifies the sense of hopelessness, as the team realizes that reinforcements and extraction may not arrive in time. Attempts to establish radio contact expose them further, forcing them to choose between staying hidden and risking total isolation or revealing their position in the hope of being rescued. These moments highlight the cruel paradox of their situation. Every action that might save them also increases the danger they face. One by one, the members of the team are wounded in the relentless firefights. Despite severe injuries, they continue to fight, dragging themselves across rocks, providing covering fire for each other, and refusing to abandon their comrades even when escape might be possible. The film places strong emphasis on the unbreakable code of loyalty among the soldiers, showing how their sense of duty to one another overrides their instinct for self-preservation. Each loss is portrayed with lingering emotional weight, allowing the audience to feel the gravity of what is happening rather than treating casualties as mere plot points. The intensity of the battle reaches its peak when a rescue helicopter is finally dispatched to extract the team. As it approaches the mountains, hope briefly returns, only to be shattered in a devastating moment that underscores the unpredictable and merciless nature of warfare. The destruction that follows is sudden and catastrophic, turning what should have been a lifeline into another tragedy and leaving the surviving soldier even more isolated and vulnerable. This sequence stands as one of the most harrowing in the film, capturing both the courage of those attempting the rescue and the heartbreaking fragility of life in combat. Left alone, severely injured, and surrounded by hostile forces, the remaining soldier is forced to rely on sheer determination and survival instincts. The narrative shifts into a more personal and introspective mode, focusing on his struggle to stay conscious, manage his wounds, and navigate an environment where every sound could signal approaching danger. Flashbacks and fragmented memories of his fallen teammates haunt him, serving as both a source of pain and a driving force pushing him to keep moving. The psychological toll of isolation becomes as significant as the physical injuries he carries. In a surprising turn, the story introduces a local villager who discovers the wounded soldier and faces his own moral dilemma about whether to help a foreign combatant. Despite the risks to his family and community, he chooses to offer protection, guided by a cultural code of hospitality and honor. This act of compassion provides a rare moment of humanity in an otherwise relentless narrative of violence and loss. The interaction between the soldier and the villager transcends language barriers, relying on gestures, expressions, and mutual trust to convey their growing understanding of each other. As enemy fighters continue to search the area, the villager and his community take great risks to hide and protect their guest, demonstrating that even in regions torn apart by conflict, there are individuals willing to stand up against violence to do what they believe is right. These scenes provide a powerful contrast to the chaos of the battlefield, highlighting themes of empathy, cultural complexity, and the idea that war is rarely as simple as two clearly defined sides. The soldier's survival becomes intertwined with the bravery of people who owe him nothing yet choose to help him anyway. Eventually, word of the soldier's survival reaches Allied forces, setting the stage for a tense and carefully coordinated extraction operation. As helicopters and armed support approach the village, the film builds suspense around whether they will arrive in time and whether the enemy forces will attack before the rescue can be completed. The final extraction is depicted with a mix of urgency and relief, as the soldier is finally lifted away from the mountains that have claimed the lives of his teammates and left an indelible mark on his own body and mind. In the aftermath, the film shifts to a quieter tone, reflecting on the cost of the mission and the lives that were lost. Photographs, personal stories, and moments of remembrance honor the fallen soldiers, reminding viewers that behind every military operation are real people with families and futures that were abruptly taken from them. The surviving soldier's journey does not end with his physical rescue. He must carry the emotional weight of the experience, the memories of his friends, and the knowledge that he lived while others did not. Visually, the film's commitment to realism is evident in its use of natural lighting, handheld camera work, and detailed practical effects that make every explosion, gunshot, and fall feel immediate and believable. The rugged mountains are captured in sweeping wide shots that emphasize both their beauty and their danger, while close-up shots during combat place the audience uncomfortably close to the chaos. This combination of scale and intimacy reinforces the sense that the story is both a large-scale, military tragedy and a deeply personal tale of survival. Sound design plays a crucial role in immersing viewers in the experience, from the echo of gunfire bouncing off rocky cliffs to the labored breathing of injured soldiers struggling to stay conscious. Periods of deafening combat are often followed by sudden silence, broken only by the wind or distant voices, creating a rhythm that mirrors the unpredictable nature of battle. The musical score is used sparingly, allowing the raw sounds of the environment and the character's pain to carry much of the emotional weight. Lone Survivor ultimately stands as a tribute to the courage, sacrifice, and resilience of soldiers placed in impossible situations. It does not glorify war or present it as an adventure, but instead portrays it as chaotic, brutal, and deeply tragic. By focusing on a small group of individuals and their fight to survive against overwhelming odds, the film creates a powerful emotional connection that resonates long after the final scene. The story serves as a reminder of the human cost of conflict and the extraordinary strength required to endure and carry on.